Hello world, grand rising to all of my kings and queens doing tremendous things. I am Altitude representing Building Narrow Minds, the hip hop workshop, and I'm renovating minds one rhyme at a time. And in this episode of Soundcheck, I want to talk about, are you prepared for your blessing? Without any further ado, let's get into it after the intro. One. So, on this channel, I like to talk about music, culture, and lifestyle. Things that affect us on a day-to-day, whether it be from entertainment, whether it be from a monetary perspective, from a spiritual perspective, or just from a worldview perspective. I like to talk about things that affect us as a whole in those different mediums. So on this channel, I talk about different topics from music to news to spirituality, just things that I'm feeling on a daily basis that hit me in the spirit and I want to talk about. I know that I should be uploading more frequently, but it is what it is. I will get to having a more consistent upload schedule, but as of right now, these are just things that hit me in the spirit. I turn the camera on and I record. So that's what you're seeing live and in the moment. I don't plan out a script. I don't write anything down. I just shoot from the hip and speak from the heart. So I hope that you feel it and you receive it however it may hit you at the time. So in this episode of Soundcheck, I have a question for you. Are you prepared for your blessing? What do I mean by this? Have you ever heard of the little expression, or the scripture I should say, faith without works is dead? Well, let's take that literally to heart. I think that when it comes to life, a lot of people don't necessarily know what that fully entails and what it means. It means, yes, God has allowed us to have free will, to have dominion over the earth, but to also be able to be wise with our actions, because he also wants us to have wisdom and understanding in all that we do, because my people shall perish for a lack of knowledge. Therefore, when it comes to our preparation, are we preparing ourselves for the things that we are even asking God for? I think it's really important for us to really dive into that and assess what we're asking for and what we are trying to attain. Are you trying to purchase a house? Are you trying to get a car? Are you trying to start a family? Are you looking for a spouse at the moment? Maybe you're single and you're looking for somebody. Whatever it is that you desire, do you want to start a business? Like, what is in your heart? What do you desire? What do you yearn for? And what are you asking God for? And then when you're asking God for those things, are you putting yourself in a position to receive it? Because otherwise, you're going to be pouring into a bottomless cup, or a cup with holes in it, and you're just going to be leaking, and you're not going to be able to be prepared to hold the blessing that God has for you. The whole phrase and expression of my cup runneth over is an overflow. It's supposed to exude the action of, I prepared myself to receive the blessing tenfold over. Therefore, I'm able to help others who are affected, and it's a ripple effect. It goes on and on and on, because you've done enough to help yourself, and then your family, and then your friends, and then your friends' friends, and people around you, and your kids' kids in the future, and all these different things. You've prepared yourself to receive that blessing. So I want you to ask yourself, while you're watching this video, what is your blessing? What do you desire? What is it that you're asking God for? Are you asking him for healing? Are you asking him for transportation? Are you asking him for housing? Are you asking him for a new job? Are you asking to increase your income? Maybe you want a raise, or you want a promotion at your job. What are you doing to get there? because no one deserves anything. Let's make that perfectly and abundantly clear. I don't deserve anything. You get what you earn. Even in the jungle, animal instinct, you eat what you kill. If you're a lion, you can't just pray for food to jump into your mouth. You gotta go get it. You gotta go kill. You gotta go eat. In the same sense, people praying for a job, you ain't put in one application. People praying for a car, you don't even have a driver's license. You're praying for a house, you haven't even saved up 20% of a down payment. We're not even going to get into the financials because I don't want this to be about money in particular. But what I'm saying is, whatever it is that you're yearning for, okay, you're asking for a spouse. Well, what are you doing to be prepared for the spouse that God sends you? Because I'm not going to just hook up with anybody. I'm not going to just go out there and say I'm single and ready to mingle. No, I am putting myself in position to where I am physically, financially, emotionally stable, to where I'm so whole that we don't need each other. We want each other. And it's a mutual union, partnership, relationship, eventually a marriage. It's cohesive. It's reciprocated. It's a two-way street. But if we don't put ourselves in position to receive that, then we'll fall for anything. We'll settle for anything. And then we'll get divorced years later. These are the things that we want to avoid, those pitfalls, those traps, those snares that bind us up and make sure that we get caught up into situations that we don't even see ourselves getting into. These are the things that we need to prepare for and understand. Hey, let's put ourselves in a position now to where no matter what happens, we'll be okay. I say it all the time on this channel. Put yourself in a position to no matter what happens, you'll be okay. It's as simple as that. What are you doing to prepare yourself for the blessing? Because faith without works is dead. And my people shall perish for a lack of knowledge. Therefore, I need us to be better. Therefore, I need us to thrive and not just survive. It's a different mindset. It's a different perspective. It's a mentality shift. It's a soul shift. It starts from within. It starts up here. And then it exudes outward. What are you doing to prepare yourself for the blessing? If you have to make a vision board, if you have to get in your prayer closet and talk to God in your spare time, I know I do, because as you all know through my music and through my videos, you can easily tell that I'm a Christian by the way I carry myself, by the way that I talk, by the way that I act. I serve God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. I read my Bible. I believe with all of my heart. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm pushing what I believe on to other people. You believe what you believe. As long as you're a good human, we can coexist. But I'm telling you what I believe and how I carry myself and how I act when I go forward in everyday life. And I think that if a lot of people just put themselves in a position to think clearly, to have their minds functioning differently, then everything will equate and change for the better. But we have to be willing to change. We have to be willing to do the work. We have to be willing to prepare for the blessing. Otherwise, we're just going to waste what God has for us. It's the same thing with people with high incomes. You know, one of my guilty pleasures is getting on YouTube and listening to either hundreds of thousandaires or millionaires or whatever the case may be talk about they're living paycheck to paycheck. Well, why? Why are they living paycheck to paycheck? You make $100K per year, whether by yourself or as a family household, like a husband and a wife, a spouse, whatever. You make $100K a year. Why are you paycheck to paycheck? It baffles me that I could listen to some of these calls and watch some of these interviews and listen to some of these financial distress signals and calls and channels and whatnot, where they talk about, I make $100K a year, but I don't know where my next meal is going to come from. And me, someone who makes significantly less than that, I sleep comfortably at night. Why? Because I prioritize my saving and my investing, my HSA, my Roth IRA, like everything, I prioritize it. I don't push it to the wayside. I make sure that I study, I read books, I get in my word, I do everything possible to prepare myself for my future, because living is expensive. Having a spouse is expensive. Having kids is expensive. Transportation, housing. What are you doing to prepare for that now, in your singleness, in your valley? Before you get to the mountaintop, can you handle the valley? Can you handle the plain first? I think it's very important for us to look within and ask ourselves and assess whether or not we can handle what God has for us now. Otherwise, how can you handle the peaks? How can you handle the mountaintops? Are you even prepared for the promised land? You praying to see the promised land, you praying to enter the promised land. You don't even know what it entails to get to the promised land. Are you ready for the blessing? Because if you're not, the blessing that God has for you will actually become a burden. And you will be cursing God every day. Why do I have this high income? Why do I have this 6-bedroom house? Why do I have this Porsche sitting in the driveway? Great things to have if you've prepared yourself properly for it. All things are permissible, but that doesn't mean that we should actually have them. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you can't. It's free will and dominion. What are you doing to prepare yourself? I could give you $1 million right now. If you have no financial literacy and you have no acumen on how to maneuver and handle it, you'll blow it within a year. And you will waste everything that was meant for you. Meanwhile, if you give someone like me $1 million, my lifestyle's not going to change. So it's different mind shifts. Now, if you give me $1 million 5-10 years ago, I'd blow it. I'd be an idiot. You give me $1 million now, how can I double it, triple it, quadruple it? Those are the things. That's where my mind goes. And sometimes it baffles me when I hear people with high incomes say they're living paycheck to paycheck. Meanwhile, I'm making significantly less. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I have more in my savings account and my retirement accounts than you, and you make triple my income. That is scary. And a lot of people don't even have an income problem. They have a spending problem. They have a discipline problem. They have a mental problem. They have a spiritual problem, because they did not take the necessary steps to prepare themselves for the blessing that God had for them. So I'll ask you one last time. Are you prepared for God's blessing? Ponder on that. Think about it. And let me know down in the comments what it is that you're asking God for. And are you ready for what He's going to give you? I am Altitude, representing Building Never Minds, the hip hop workshop, renovating minds one rhyme at a time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell to be updated on the latest and greatest content. And until the next video, I will see you guys when I see you guys. Peace and one love.